Hey, what's up? Seventan here, taking a look at the multiplayer turn-based strategy game, Duelyst, developed by Counterplay Games, a small startup studio consisting of a couple of industry vets. Duelyst has you playing as a commander able to summon powerful monsters and conjure devastating spells as you try to defeat your opponent out on the battlefield. The game plays out on quite a small playing field, being a 9x5 grid, starting with only 2 units in play, the 2 opposing teams' commanders, with 25-point health pools each that when depleted will have that commander lose the game. There are also these 3 floating mana orbs that can be captured to give you extra mana to use for a turn. The game borrows a couple of mechanics from Hearthstone, as Duelyst is a card-based game, including its mana system where you start with 1 mana to use a turn, then 2, then 3, and so on. The first card you draw can also be mulliganed for another so as not to end up with a handful of 7-cost minions. During your turn you'll be able to move all your minions already on the field up to 2 spaces horizontally or vertically, but only 1 space diagonally, making positioning and placement of units extremely important. On top of that, any minion that you try to spawn onto the battlefield can only spawn adjacent to one of your other minions, with a valid strategy being to overwhelm your enemy's commander and not allow them to spawn in any minion. Each minion in the game has an attack value and a health value, and when in combat, the enemy gets a chance to counterattack, so you have to weigh up each available attacking option to get the most out of your minions. Some of your minions will also have an additional ability or passive to take advantage of, with things like Provoke, that essentially taunts all other enemy minions around it, disabling their movement until the minion is killed, or Rush, that allows a minion to avoid summoning sickness, able to attack on the round it spawns. There's a bunch more of these abilities, as well as quite a few minion specific bonuses, like spawning a 1/1 minion at the start of your turn, or friendly minions summoned next to this minion gain 1/1 to their attack and health. There's quite a lot to consider, especially once you start adding in spell cards that are usually cheap on their mana cost but still extremely powerful, completely changing the tide of battle. For example, being able to attack with a minion twice in one turn at a 0 mana cost, or giving a minion +3 attack for 3 mana. Finally, there are artifacts that can only be equipped by your commander that can be extremely beneficial, however they are fragile and can only withstand 3 attacks before breaking. Numerous artifacts can be equipped at the same time and can provide the commander with +4 attack, or the ability to deal 1 damage to the enemy commander for every spell you play. To balance all these cards out, you are only allowed to have 3 copies of the same card in your deck, preventing any kind of ridiculous plays like a +26 attack commander that can one-shot an opposing commander. The cards that are available to you in your hand aren't set in stone, with the game allowing you to mulligan 1 card each turn, which can be useful in getting rid of cards at a high mana cost and replacing them with maybe a better option. It's best to do this at the start of your turn, as you may get a card you really want to use. At the end of your turn, you'll also draw 2 new cards into your hand, providing fast games with lots of action. Both of these mechanics work well in never really leaving you with 0 options for a turn, almost always able to get something out on the battlefield. As you've probably noticed, there are multiple different factions available to play in Duelyst, 6 to be exact, each with their own unique minions, spells, artifacts, and style of play. Some opt for overwhelming your opponent with weak minions, while others rely on faction-specific mechanics like Zeal, giving minions significant bonuses when near their commander. Finding one that suits your playstyle shouldn't be too hard, and trying them all out is incentivized through daily quests, like win 4 games with a certain faction. While each faction does have its own unique cards, there are also shared common cards that can fill out your decks. Constructing your own faction deck will have you selecting 40 cards. Playing for the first time though, it's probably better to just use the random decks, as they'll be somewhat balanced around your cards you have available and allow you to learn the game without being too overwhelmed. Once you do get some more cards, you'll be able to create decks that focus on particular playstyles like buff decks, Deathwatch decks, and so on. Very similar in how you can build Hearthstone decks. The main way of attaining new cards to use in constructing custom decks is by using the game's in-game currency of gold to purchase Spirit Orbs, basically a card booster pack containing 5 random cards, one of which is guaranteed to be a rare or better. These Spirit Orbs cost 100 gold each, with you earning around 20 gold for winning a game, plus extra gold from daily quests you complete. As you would expect, being a free-to-play game, you can also purchase these Spirit Orbs with real-world currency, with 1 Spirit Orb costing you around $1.50 or your regional equivalent. Duelyst has multiple game modes, with the main ranked competitive mode being a seasonal ranked ladder that resets after each month. The ranking system works almost identically to Hearthstone's, with lower level wins gaining you a rank, but the higher you go, the more wins you'll need to secure. Rewards are given out at the end of each month for ranking milestones that consists of 4 brand new cards added to the game, plus gold and spirit to craft cards you don't already have. Other game modes include the Gauntlet, basically the arena in Hearthstone where you choose one card out of 3 possibilities until you have your 40 card deck. This game mode is only available once every now and then though, purely due to the game's current player base and the server stability, but it will eventually become a permanent feature of the game, possibly even in the next couple of days. There is also a single player game mode where you play both sides of the battlefield, providing a place to learn mechanics freely. Lastly, there is the training grounds that starts off with you learning the basics of the game through a tutorial, but later introduces various amounts of challenges and situations that you have to overcome, rewarding you with gold for each completion. The challenges are actually really well made and can take quite a while to figure out, and there are plenty of them to complete if that's your thing. Other features of the game include a small amount of statistics showing various lifetime achievements in the game, like amount of ranked wins, gauntlet wins, and a longest win streak. You also have your current ranked season progress and most played faction displayed here. In the near future, a normal or casual game mode will also be added to the game, so you don't always have to play in ranked matchmaking if you're maybe trying out a new deck and don't want to lose ranking. Altogether, Duelyst is a really cool tactical game that allows for quick pick up and play sessions, much similar to Hearthstone's pick up and play ability. The game's combination of both the collectible card game and turn-based strategy genre provide for more strategical gameplay, weighing up both what plays you have available in your hand and what you can do positionally on the board. If you're looking for a more involved experience than say Hearthstone, where you're not just thinking about the cards, then Duelyst is definitely worth a look. If you're more of a turn-based strategy kind of person, then Duelyst is still worth checking out, but it doesn't really excel at this part of the game. Anyway, that's been my player preview for Duelyst. The game is currently in open beta for PC and Mac, and will eventually be coming to iOS and Android devices at a later date. If you want to find out more about the game, check out the links below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.